Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Kelly Trokanowski, and today I will be outlining a critical assessment of the PRECEDE-PROCEED model, specifically as it relates to my own personal experience with developing a program plan for how to improve daily foot and blood checks among Wilcox County diabetic residents. To begin with, I want to give a brief overview of the PPM. The basic framework can be seen on the right here. It is a community-focused participatory public health program planning model. It is designed to create successful health promotion interventions. PRECEDE and PROCEED are, in fact, acronyms. PRECEDE stands for predisposing, reinforcing, and enabling constructs in educational, environmental diagnosis and evaluation, while PROCEED stands for policy, regulatory, and organizational constructs in educational and environmental development. As each of these names suggest, the PRECEDE portion is the process that leads up to an intervention, while the PROCEED portion deals with how to carry out the intervention itself. There are many strengths and weaknesses when it comes to using this specific model. Firstly, some strengths include that it is a clearly organized framework. The building blocks of the assessment phases provide a solid foundation upon which to build an intervention. Also, since it is a participatory model, community stakeholders can provide information regarding priority issues with a clearer context. Additionally, it gives stakeholders the ability to observe and analyze the ultimate desired outcome from multiple angles, especially from an administrative perspective, which is often neglected in other program planning models. Finally, it emphasizes continuous intervention improvement and allows the freedom to adapt the structure to whatever content and methods meet the needs of the community in question. However, because of its comprehensive nature, there are some weaknesses. For instance, because so much information must be gathered, this can be a strain on time and personnel. Additionally, it may be difficult to narrow down which data that's being gathered will ultimately be useful for intervention development. Also, the model seems to focus more on collecting assessment data versus actual intervention implementation. For the case study that I developed to address the issues facing residents in Wilcox County, these strengths and weaknesses manifested in different ways throughout the process, which allowed me to learn a lot. Firstly, as you can see in my logic model on the right, improving the overall quality of life among residents is paramount, and the visualization displays how each step in the process is meant to produce this outcome. Additionally, each assessment phase provided much data upon which to develop the intervention. The sheer amount of research required for the epidemiological, educational, and ecological phases guaranteed that my strategy to create a 6-week diabetic self-management program in the county would be well supported. Also, by having the logic model in place, it was easy to see the logical flow of how community factors led to problems and how they could be solved with the intervention. For example, during the epidemiological assessment, it was found that the environment of Wilcox County is not conducive to seeking health care, since it is mostly rural with little to no developed infrastructure. So developing an intervention that addressed accessibility was critical, which is why I proposed that the program be held at the local library. This is just one of the instances of how each step built upon the last to create a reasonable strategy. The biggest challenges regarding the planning of this program were the need to stay within the budget of $50,000 total, time frame of 2 years, and ensure that participants continued their education after the 6-week program. To address these challenges, I developed a plan for sustainability. Firstly, I allotted portions of the budget to specific goals. For instance, the fundraising team would receive $4,000 per year, and it would be their responsibility to seek renewable grants on a rolling basis. Also, evaluation team from the Georgia and Alabama office of the ADA would be allotted $2,500 per year and would be responsible for collecting necessary data for evaluation. Additionally, ensuring staff members were properly trained on the DSMP standard would be a challenge so staff would receive 5 days of training on protocol to meet defined levels of proficiency. If I were to develop this program again, there are a few things that I would do differently. Firstly, I would focus on evaluation techniques from the beginning so as to better streamline the improvement of the program early on. Secondly, I would more carefully consider the ethical implications throughout the process, since informed consent is not something that happened once but is ongoing. Finally, I would require more primary data sources. Given the limited time of completing this assignment, I was limited to using secondary sources to determine the ecological and educational assessment factors. Since it's such a stakeholder-centric model, I would hope to utilize more primary data directly from residents. This could be done through first-hand interviews, surveys, and fieldwork. Overall, the use of the PPM really helped guide the development of this program for Wilcox residents, and I will surely use it more in the future, but with these takeaways in mind. These are some of the references that I used, and I hope you have a wonderful day.